So hi everybody and welcome back to Unreal Engine 5 tutorial series for absolute beginners. This is video 144 and in this video I want to continue talking about performance with selecting actors, and in this video we are talking about casting again, but this time I show you a way how you still can cast and the performance is very good. And this cast is called cast to a base class, and now we will discuss how we can make this, because we have to set up it properly so that we can make a base class cast. So first of all, let's set up a scenario how I want to use it. For example, I have here my, let me start this game here. I have here my first person character, and my first person character can shot his projectiles, right? And my goal is now to set up this projectile which I can shot as a base class, and I made already a setup for this. So let me show you what I mean. Here in my blueprints I created a base class folder, and what I did is first I created a base projectile. How we create a base projectile? Very easy. It's just a normal actor. You go right click on it, you go on top to blueprint class, you select actor, and you just call it your BP, for example base in this case. Okay, BP base. All right, this will be your base class, and then you open up your base class and you set up here some functionality for your base class, what you want, or nothing if you want. So after that one, I did the same thing here with this projectile. I created an actor and called this one here base. So this setup, what you can see here, is just a normal actor, and how you can see that this one is just a normal actor here in this editor. Here on the right side it says parent class is right now actor. All right, that is our indicator. We know this parent class has an actor class. That's very important. Then we go back to our editor, and after we set up here some more information for the base class, I set up here a ball, it is a green collision, and then I set up here some functionality, a hit event, and a event begin play where I print just a string yo 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 for demonstration purposes for later. That's it. That's my setup for my base class. And then I go out, go to my base class here, save first of all, right click on it, and then I can go here which says create child blueprint class. So I create based on this class another blueprint which is a child. Let's do this, and if you do so, of course it is called child, but you can call it whatever you want, but I keep it as a base child. Then I save all, then I open up, and the first thing what we see here is on the right side, the parent class is now my blueprint base, right? This is that what I created here. That's very important. And now the next thing what we can see, the left side here in components, this components what you have here, they have now this edit in blueprint. This edit in blueprint, when you click on it, it will jump to your base class. So I click on it and you can see this one opened up my base class, which looks a little bit strange here. But this one is my base class. It says here BP base because I have not opened up this in a full editor. Now it is jumping to my base class. So let's do this again because that looks strange here. This is my child. When I click on this edit blueprint, it is jumping to my base class. All right, that's nice. So we created now these two classes, and I have created them here with this projectiles. Here I have no code, that's why I don't use them. Let's base, yes, force delete, I don't care. And this one here, not projectile, this one delete. So here I've done this here with this projectile. This is my base class. I can see it because I called it base, but important is the parent class is actor. And this one here is my child blueprint class, which I created. I can see it here, parent class BP projectile base. And here one more info. If you want change the parent class. You can change it here by reparent. You can set a parent here new, for example, the reparent blueprint, and then you can choose another class. That's also very handy. For example, you want to make one blueprint, a child blueprint of another, to use, for example, this casting technique, which I'm going to show you in a moment. So anyway, we continue. Now we have set up these two classes. So first of all, why we need these two classes? Because when we I will use this child actor class. I will not use the base class. This base class I will use only for casting, and we will see in a moment why. Let's set up more. So what is my goal now? My goal now is my character is coming here, and if I shot here and it is overlapping, for example, with this collision box, which we set up in our last video with interfaces and so on. I showed you. Let me open this one fast up again. Here is my collision box. Here I set up the interface. Here you can see the super effective interface, but we have not all time the possibility to set up probably an interface. Depends on the situation, and we won't just make a normal cast. And you can see we will change this now. And what my goal is now, all time, when my projectile throws into this collision box, I want that this collision box should realize it, but not via interface. It should realize it via cast. So we are casting now, instead using this interface version here. That's right here, faster comment interface. We are not going to use the interface version. Let's do this one. So now we are going the cast version, and here I'm casting to BP base. Here it's already this one, but what I do is normally I would write now cast to BP projectile base, because that is what I created, this base class. In my case, this is my base class. I hope this is the right one. And then this one goes up. This is the thing here, and then I have just an action. After this one I want to do something. In my case I want just print a string, and okay, I use the base now. It says that's enough, but of course I need the other actor here, which is my overlapping actor. So the question is now why I do this, why I cast here to the base class, right? So why I'm casting not to the projectile child? Because in my child, this one here is actually the thing what I'm really using. The base class, I'm not using it. Where I'm using this child class, I show you this as well. This one is set up, I think, here in this weapon. Is this here set up? Yes, it is used in this weapon because this projectile is spawned when I shot with the weapon. So my weapon is spawning this projectile here. Here's a spawner, and here you can see I'm not spawning the base, I'm spawning the projectile base. So let me write it here again, BP. You can see I have here projectile options. I have now this base or the child, and here I select the child because I'm not, I want have the child has more functionality normally, and the child should yeah, use whatever it should. And in my case, we can see I added here, first of all, I added nothing here. This one I can add later. This is for demonstration purposes. So, and yes, and yeah, let's see. This is the setup so far. So important to know right now is, let's repeat this fast because it was a little bit confusing. First of all, you create a base class, then you make a child blueprint about this base class, and then you use this base child blueprint base class in the place where you want to use it. In my case, it's this weapon here. When I start my game, you can see it. I jump to this weapon, and this weapon has now this child blueprint, which is my projectile, and I can shoot, and you can see the color is white. This is my base class color. Here you can see it too. This is my base class, and I mean child class, and here the base class is green. So this is nice to distinguish. And now let's go to this cast here, because we said casting is very, very, very bad normally. And I made you an example that this cast build hard references. Hard references will load all time, because hard reference meet doesn't matter what you have, I need you, right? Let's go to this reference viewer again. But before we go there, let's check our base. What we have there, right click on it, and like I said in one of my videos, you have these two options here, but of course this is just for a quick check. Later you have profiling tools, but we use this quick check, that's enough for us. And here I go here first to the size map, and my size map shows, oh nice, my base class is only 308 kilobytes, which is nothing. That's very nice, very nice. Then let's check our child class as well. Okay, I go to my child class, size map. Oh god, I have here 131 megabyte, and the reason for that is I showed this one also in one of my last videos. Was when I open this one up, you can see there is normally nothing in, but my child class, I have here created two variables, and one of my variable is this infinitive warrior, and my infinitive warrior is so bad set up that it causes absolute headache, which means the real reason why I have here so a big size is all because of my infinitive warrior blueprint. And you can see it here too. Here, this one here, it says here BP infinitive warrior. This is a reference, and this one takes all the, more or less, this one creates all this big size here in my file, because I have just this one variable. And of course you can go here also to check with the reference viewer, and it's a little bit more size. So my child has here 4 hard references in this case. The biggest one, the worst one is this one here, not very effective and not very good. And so what is now the problem here actually? So because I said it will perform very well, I said the casting will perform very well. When I set up this child blueprint like this one, you can see this will stay so big it is. There is no way to make it. You have this make other ways lower this size map in this blueprint itself. But I said the casting can cause very big problems, right? Because let's say go back. If I cast this one now, not to the base class, if I cast this one to the child blueprint class, but before I cast, let's check our box here, because now I check box. This box will cast, right? This box will cast to a projectile. Now I have to choose base or child. Before I choose, let's go to this asset. Here is this trigger box, right click on it, size map. Right now it has just 40.5 kilobytes, nothing, perfect. But let's go in again. Let's change here. Let's see, let me see. Let's make here, that was my, by the way, that was my other setup. Let's see what here is. It's still nothing. Very nice, very nice. But now comes my casting. And what we learned about casting so far, when you cast, it will load all things what it needs to. Let's cast to child blueprint. Oops, what was it called? Child cast to BP projectile, and it was child. Which child was it? This child class? I don't know. It was called, where is it again? Oh man, here base classes, and it was projectile based child. Okay, let's cast to BP projectile. cast to BP projectile base child. I think it was this one here, base child, or one of this one. All right, let's do it. I think it's the right one. If not, no worry. So here I cast it, and of course I have the other actor here, and we learned this one is very bad, right? So now we check here this cast. This cast is now important. Let's compile, save. Let's go and check this trigger box again. I browse to this trigger box and right click size map, and you see I cast it now to the child blueprint, and the child blueprint was anyway set up this big, and it needs all this kind of size. And because I used a cast node, this kind of things will be loaded when I cast to it. So this kind of stuff will be also loaded when I use this trigger box here. But now, instead of casting to the child, I go again into this place and I replace this with the base class. Let's do this again. The same thing again, but we just cast to the base class. So let's make this cast to BP projectile base. So you can see here's the base class. This one, here is my other actor. And now here I will print again a string, something like that. And now we check again, the same thing again. My projectile will throw in, but this time it's casting to the base class, not to the child class, which I'm actually using. And browse to asset, right click on it, size map it, and voila, we see something interesting. The size, the loading memory is so low, that is also called nothing, because 323 kilobytes compared to 131 megabytes is a big difference, I would say. And this boosts your performance. So you can see the cast to a base class is effective. The only question what probably many new starter would ask is, how is this possible? I mean, because we are not using the base class, right? We have here, let's go to this classes which I created, where we are not using the base class. We are casting to the base class, but we are using actually this child blueprint class. And the reason for that is this has to do something with inheritance, which I'm not talking about in this video, or it would take too long. But think about, so if this one is a base class, projectile base, this child class is automatically also considered as a projectile base. So behind the scene it says, yes, you are the same thing like here. And that's why I can make this cast here and it will work. But like I said, this has to do something with inheritance, which need a separate video, and this works. And you can see the performance is very nice as well when you use the right cast. And there is normally much more to talk about this cast, but I think you get the idea. When you cast to a base class, you can avoid, like I showed you here, all the child blueprint setups. Here in this child blueprint, for example, I could set up here much more things. I can make here get all actors of class. Here I created this variable, and that's why it was so blown up this size. It can even get bigger. The problem is this class will stay big, but the cast here will take not much memory when you use this one here, because you are not using the child blueprint class, you are using the base blueprint class of the child, and that's effective. That was a little bit complicated, I think, because to understand it fully, you need to understand also, like I said, a little bit about this inheritance. But anyway, we'll talk perhaps in the future about this, because inheritance is more a programming term which you learn, which you have learned while you are learning blueprint programming or something like that, or C++. There you learn it definitely. And with that said, I think I stop this video. If you have any questions, any complaints, like all time, write it in the comments. See you in the next video, and we will talk there also about I think there is 1-2 more topics which we have to cover, which is component based performance, and where what components means at all. I think many new starter are not using the system with this components, which is actually very powerful when you are using it. Anyway, that we are going to talk in the next video probably. And see you there. Good luck, have fun, and don't give up.